the continuation of analysis of univariate data. Remember, univariate data is data collected on a single variable. Some of the common analysis are measures of central tendency, measures of position, which have been discussed already. Then we have measures of dispersion, which is also called as variation, spread, or scatteredness of the data. The property of the spread of the data is called as dispersion. So if you have some values of x variable 1 recorded, and if you plot them along the xy plane, the spread of the variable is called as dispersion, and the numerical value which captures that spread is called as measure of dispersion. So dispersion is the property of spread of the data. The numerical measure which captures that spread is called as a measure of dispersion. These measures of dispersion are broadly categorized into two groups: absolute measures as well as relative measures. Absolute measures are those measures which capture the spread in terms of the original units of measurement of the variable, like centimeters or dollars or rupees, etc. Relative measures are those which doesn't capture the unit of measurement of the data. So they are along with the units of the measurement of the variable x, they are free from the units of measurement of the variable x. So hence, if you are in a situation of comparing two or more distributions, then the suitable measure is the relative measure, because if you have one distribution, say x height of the students in terms of centimeters, another distribution age measured in terms of years, you cannot compare the distributions because the unit of measurement of the variables are different. So in that case, instead of using the absolute measures, you could use the relative measures, which are free of units of measurements, and hence the comparison can be easily done. Now there are several measures of absolute measures of dispersion: range, quartile deviation, interquartile range, commonly known as IQR, average or mean deviation, as well as standard deviation. Of this, the commonly used measures are quartile deviation, interquartile range, as well as standard deviation. The standard deviation is also denoted by this letter, Greek letter, which is sigma, and the square of the standard deviation is said to be variance. So if you denote sigma as the standard deviation, then sigma square indicates the variance of the distribution. In some cases, standard deviation is also indicated by capital S or small s. The relative measures of these absolute measures are coefficient of range, coefficient of quartile deviation, and then you also have one of the most commonly used relative measure, which is coefficient of variation, commonly indicated as CV. So if you are in a situation where you want to compare two or more distributions, and you have to select a distribution which is good in the sense the spread is very less, which indicates that there is consistency in the data. So in that case, you will have to talk about coefficient of variation. So you have measures of dispersion categorized into two groups: absolute measures, relative measures. Absolute measures are those measures which captures the measures in terms of the original unit of the measurement of the variable. Relative measures are those which doesn't capture the measure in terms of the unit of measurement. They are actually free of unit of measurement of the variable x. So if you want to examine the property of a distribution only within the distribution, you could use the absolute measures. You are in a situation where you have two or more distribution and you want to compare the distributions. In that case, you will be using the relative measures of dispersion. Now let us talk about these absolute and the relative measures in detail. The first measure, the simple measure, is range. It is indicated by R and is defined as the difference between the highest value and the lowest value in the data. So if you indicate the highest value of the data by H and the lowest value of the data by L, then R range is equal to H minus L. Its relative measure is coefficient of range given by H minus L over H plus L. Similarly, when you have computed the quartiles, remember there are three quartiles. Quartiles are the measures of position which divides the distribution into three equal parts based on the type of the data, whether it is raw data or discrete frequency data or continuous frequency data. After capturing the values of Q1, Q2, Q3, you could define interquartile range, which is nothing but range of the quartiles. So generally for any data, range is highest minus lowest. When it comes to quartile, highest quartile is Q3, lowest quartile is Q1. Therefore, the difference between Q3 and Q1 is called as interquartile range. And using the same obtained quartiles, you can define quartile deviation, which is abbreviated as QD, and it is defined as Q3 minus Q1 by 2. So if you observe that, you can write QD as IQR by 2. IQR by 2 is nothing but half of IQR. Half of IQR is nothing but semi-IQR. So hence you can call quartile deviation as semi-interquartile range. Its relative measure is coefficient of QD, which is again Q3 minus Q3 minus Q1 divided by Q3 plus Q1. You should look into the type of the data, use the appropriate formulas to compute Q1, Q2, Q3 as per the raw, discrete or continuous data. After calculating values of Q3 and Q1, substitute the values here and then compute the quartile deviation. The next measure is important measure, most commonly used measure of dispersion, which is standard deviation. As we have arithmetic mean, or commonly called as mean or average, the most commonly used measure of central tendency, sigma or standard deviation, is the most commonly used measure of dispersion. It is defined as the positive square root of the sum of the squares of the deviations of observations from arithmetic mean and the average of that. So average of the sum of average of the deviations of the square and the square root of that. If you define variance, variance will be the square of standard deviation, which is sigma square. So when I take the square on both sides, the square root get cancels, and hence we define the standard deviation as sigma square is equal to summation x minus x bar whole square by n. This is for the raw data. If you have the frequency along with the variable captured, then you will have the formula for standard deviation as summation of f into x minus x bar whole square divided by capital N, and the variance will be summation f into x minus x bar whole square divided by n, where n is the total of frequency. So the first step in the computation of standard deviation or variances, you have to compute the value of arithmetic mean. And for raw case, if you remember, arithmetic mean is sigma x by n, and for frequency case, x bar is the ratio of total of fx to the total of frequency. The computation of x minus x bar and x minus x bar whole square is quite tedious here. So hence we can expand this formula and simplify it, and the simplified formula is sigma x square by n minus x bar square. So after expansion and simplification, the n in the x bar get cancels, and hence you have n divided only to the first term sigma x square. So sigma x square is total of x square, and similarly for frequency data, so this becomes sigma fx square divided by capital N minus x bar square. So here x bar is sigma x by n. In case of frequency data, it is sigma fx by sigma f. So if the unit of measurement is same as that of the variable. If you have x in terms of rupees, standard deviation will also be in terms of rupees. But when it comes to variance, it will be the square of the unit of measurement. So if you have x captured in terms of rupees, then the unit of variance will be rupees square. Along with standard deviation, if you want to talk about the uniformity as well as consistency of the data, then you will talk about the coefficient of variation, which is CV. It is defined as the ratio of standard deviation to mean, and sometimes it is expressed in terms of percentage also. So if sigma is the standard deviation, x bar is the mean, then CV is sigma divided by x bar, and sometimes we multiply that by 100 and convert that into percentage. So if you have two or more distributions, for each distribution compute the coefficient of variation and examine their values. The distribution with least CV value is said to be more consistent. Distribution with least CV, the lesser the value of CV, more consistent and more uniform the distribution is. We'll understand these consistency and uniformity clearly through some problems. So to be specific, so if I say the distribution is consistent or uniform, so you could have a situation where, say, a player, cricket player is playing some of his balls, and whatever may be the type of the bowler, maybe the type of the field or the weather condition, for every ball the score he gets is somewhat closer to each of the other score. So that is called as consistency. Similarly, for example, marks scored by students. If the marks scored by students in 6 subjects are very much closer to each other, then we say that is consistent score. If a student fails in one subject, scores 90 and above in the other subject, then that is the situation where the marks is not consistent. So if you know each and every value of your x, just by examining those values, you could say whether the data is consistent or not. But whenever the data or the size of the data is very large, in that case, the computation of CV will help you in examining the consistency as well as the uniformity of the data. So I'll upload some exercise problems and some worked examples through videos. Please solve the problems.